Hey everyone, welcome everyone back to my movie review and my video. And of course, today I'm gonna talk and review in honor of Richard Donner, another favorite film of mine that I really enjoy, that I really love. Um, by the way, this is Ivo once again. Sorry about my dog. And today, the movie that I'm actually talking about is actually Conspiracy Theory. Came out 1997 in August 8th was released. And this Blu-ray was actually released on April 22, 2014. Um, I got this film around July 2014 for a Mel Gibson collection. And this is definitely one of my personal favorite Mel Gibson movies that he did. Lately, I have not seen Mel Gibson movies except Little Weapon films, and directed by Richard Donner and written by Brian Helgeland. I actually read the story that they actually both meet, I think, in Taxi Cab when they talk about the work, and I actually read it that Richard Donner, he passed away, which is really sad, but great director, one of my favorite directors, Richard Donner. The late Richard Donner passed away previous month, July 5th, this year 2021, and I'm doing this review in honor of him. And I read it that he really liked and enjoyed working with Brian Helgeland. That's why he brought him on Assassins, the movie, which I'm not a fan of that. But they did another movie together, and they really they really enjoy working together. Um, Now, conspiracy theory. Before I go into the movie, it's really sad that no one takes the time, no one talks about this film. The most popular movies that people nowadays are talking about Richard Donner is Little Weapon films, all four of them. They talk about The Omen and The Goonies. The Goonies gets the most credits. But no one talks about conspiracy theory, and I'm gonna talk about one of my personal favorite films from Mel Gibson and from Richard Donner. And now, huge fan of Mel Gibson, and I do really enjoy his movies, his work. I did heard stuff like that he's not one of the most nicest people. I don't know if it's true or not because I don't really care because I enjoy his work, his movies. And if I'll do top 10 favorite movies, this will be definitely my top 5 favorite films. The top 3 movies that Mel Gibson did, in my opinion, were actually Little Weapon 1, 2, and 3. Number 4, I'll say Edge of Darkness. This will be number 5, Conspiracy Theory. Number 6, I'll say The Road Warrior. Number 7, I'll say Braveheart. I really enjoy Braveheart a lot. Number 8, I would definitely say We Were Soldiers. Number 9, I would say What Women Want with Helen Hunt in it. And number 10, I would say Bloodfather, which I enjoyed Bloodfather. It came out 2016. Now, Conspiracy Theory stars Mel Gibson, Julia Roberts, and Patrick Stewart, which Mel Gibson plays Jerry Fletcher, and Julia Roberts is Alice Sutton. So this is the back. And I know no one cares about this film. Could get special edition, but does not get that proper treatment. Demolition Man does not get proper treatment. Broken Arrow, Hard Target, they don't get special treatment. So which is really sad, But many of those 90s movies, they don't get special editions, like 4K or which there will be at least bonus material like interview. But I think that the cast and the crew, the director did not talk that much about the film. So Mel Gibson plays Jerry Fletcher, a taxi driver. He's actually New York cab driver, taxi driver, and he's a conspiracy buff. He knows about the secret movers, shakers, and assassins who really control things. He actually thinks that everything is a conspiracy theory. Before I continue more, I'm not that fan. Actually, I'm not that big into those conspiracy theories. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, about the aliens, government movement. There were the TV show called The X-Files and the spin-off TV show The Lone Gunman. You can watch those. I'm not that big into conspiracy theories or those chaos theories like Dr. Ian Malcolm. I'm not into it. But yeah, so Jerry Fletcher sees conspiracies everywhere. One has turned out to be true. Now his enemies want him dead, and she's the only one he can trust. So this is the taglines, in the film. So this is the taglines, and of course, Jerry says, "I don't know what I know, but I know it's that it's big." Jerry says, and Jerry Fletcher, he's a conspiracy buff. He sees conspiracies everywhere about government, and he thinks that it's big. That something is big because he's a taxi driver, and the only one that he trusts is Alice Sutton, played by Julia Roberts. She's like she's like Dana Scully skeptical, and she doesn't believe him. They met like 6 months ago when he saved her by 2 muggers. Since then, they became close friends. And she's one of the nicest people. She's actually the Justice Department attorney, and she's the only one that's nice because people in the department, that she works, especially the security guards, thinks that he's loco, that his head is not right, So Jerry Fletcher, he actually sees a few people in a suit and tie, in the van, and he follows them. And at first, it looks like that that he just thinks that they're actually spooks, that actually some spies. At first he thinks that they're actually just spies, and he goes to Alice Sutton, but he's run out of her office, because no one cares about his theories or what he says. And when he goes to follow them, he actually sees on the construction about the pipes, and he follows some people. He thinks that's something big, and he gets really kidnapped and abandoned in the old apartment, an abandoned apartment by Dr. Jones, played by Patrick Stewart. And because they think that he knows something, they actually kidnapped him. He's in this old building. He's tied on a wheelchair. They actually put his, they actually glue his eyes. Not glue. They actually glue his eyes with a tape. And they keep trying to interrogate him, and Jerry goes and he bites, Dr. Jones' nose, and he escapes with a wheelchair. Very good direction by Richard Donner. He did a perfect direction. He escapes with a wheelchair. I love that scene. It's my favorite scene. Jerry flees with the wheelchair and flies down with the wheelchair, when he's tied up, flies down the stairs, and he kicks one guy, and the guy, falls and lands over the window, and he hits another guy, and they both fall down, and he breaks the wheelchair and ties, and he escapes. And once again, he goes to Justice apartment to talk to Alice Sutton once again. And he took the gun, but he tries to tell her that something that he knows it's something big, that he finally found a real conspiracy in the government, but he's been arrested then. She talks him out of it, so he surrenders. He's been arrested. He goes to hospital, and because the nurse gives him something to sleep, he asks Alice if she could change the charts. At first she hesitated, but then she changed the charts. And the next day, his roommate is dead, and it turns out someone is out to get Jerry. And while in a hospital, Alice, by her boss, Steve Kahan, who played Lieutenant Lieutenant Murphy in Little Weapon movies. He was also in Predator 2 and in Demolition Man. It's actually her boss. He plays Wilson, her boss office. And it turns out the FBI and CIA are looking for him. And the FBI agent Lowry is looking for him. I think was robbery or was a fraud, I forgot. And CIA is looking for him, like he's some sort of assassin. And Jerry knows they want him, so he staged a heart infarct and he escapes. He actually escapes with he goes and escapes with a bat. He tries to go to laundry, but he knocks the cop down, and Alice, she finds him, she helps him, so that he escape. It turns out that Agent Jones, in which Jerry talks is true, he bites his nose, and of course Dr. Jones, he says, not Agent Dr. Jones, he says, that a dog, actually bite him in the nose. Of course, it wasn't true. He lied, but now Jerry is now a fugitive, and the only one he can trust is Alice Sutton, and Alice, she goes. He escapes. He's actually hiding in her car, and because he tells her that she's been tailed, and it's true. FBI agent Lowry had orders to trail her, so she and Jerry, they go to his apartment, and but they found him in his apartment, and they actually fire the gas, the smoker in him, and he actually did perfectly. He burnt everything, and they escaped, great escape route. They escaped, and they both escaped, which I enjoy. Jerry's been dressed as a fireman. They escaped, the building's on fire, and I enjoyed it, and yeah, so now Jerry is on the run, and in the meantime, Alice, she's actually investigating the murder of her father. I think he was a judge. I think he was. He was the Justice Department judge, and he was killed. And when she goes more to the secret, she finds out that that Jerry was an assassin who might been involved in the death of her father, because Ezekiel Walters, he's actually in the prison, and all the evidence shows that it's him, but I guess it wasn't him. I guess the assassin was Jerry, and Dr. Jones tells him that he is one of the assassins that escaped, and that he was the one that killed her father. So she starts cooperating and working with CIA, and of course, once again, Jerry gives her location with a pizza, and they both escaped, and he knows that they're onto him, so they both, Jerry and Alice, he makes a chaos, he screws the CIA agents. They both escape, and she's upset because she thinks that he killed her father, but actually he tells her the truth, that he was one of the experiments, one of the four, I think was one of the 5 men that was experiments. Because he's actually was writing, he's an author, he was writing a conspiracy theories. He only had five subscribers, 5 people who were buying his stuff, and 4 of them end up dead because they did something new. The 5th one was actually Dr. Jones as Henry Finch, alias name. And and of course Jerry tells her that he was one of the men that was sent, to kill her father because her father was close to the truth. But her father was close to the truth, but he couldn't. He was a really nice man. They became friends, and that's how he was actually watching her, because he was protecting her. But he couldn't save her father. It was too late. Someone else killed her, and was sent by Dr. Jones. He tried, to protect him, but he couldn't. He was too late. So he was protecting her. That's why he was watching her. He wasn't a stalker like he saw in the open scene when he was watching, or when he talked to the guy, about her, and he had flashbacks. He was one of the runaway experiments, and he was freelancer since then, since he escaped the government experiments led by Dr. Jones. And Dr. Jones is he's the bad guy. And because his project, he doesn't want that his project gets out. He wants to find Jerry, wants to know what he knows, then he wants to kill him. And when they both they capture Jerry, and of course Alice decides to help to find Jerry, and she goes by the leads by Geronimo, that was written on the bed that Jerry write in the hospital. She follows the leads. It brings her to abandoned facility, and it was more a factory, a plant. So it brings her. So with another doctor, she actually goes with another doctor. She actually finds tied. She finds tied Jerry. She also contacts. She also goes and contact FBI agent Lowry. It turns out that the CIA, he wasn't at CIA. Dr. Jones wasn't CIA. I think he was one of the governments, but I think he was one of the assassins, or he was making experiments on people. But when they actually tried to find the building was empty. There was no one there because they probably were some frauds, or government agents. Who knows, But and Alice, she called the FBI, the real FBI agents, and she found Jerry tied up, and FBI, they started shooting those assassins, and as you know, and of course, Alice goes and ties up, Jerry, and of course she kisses him, and they try to really kiss each other, and they go, and Jerry fights Dr. Jones, throws in the pool, with a long stick, throws in the pool, tries to drown himself defense, and Dr. Jones grabs the gun and shoots Jerry, cowardly, he goes and shoots Jerry, and Alice goes and shoots she goes and shoots the guy, in the pool of water, and kills the guy, and she saves Jerry, but Jerry is dying, he's actually, Jerry's actually dying now, he's actually dying, and she really cries, and they both try to go, she really cries, and they both try to go, they took her in the hospital, but Jerry dies, but actually no, he doesn't die. She goes riding a horse, and Jerry actually doesn't die because he was, because he faked the death, and she knew that he faked his death, and he goes, with FBI agents Lowry and the other guy, um, Flip, the other guy, Flip, and he tells them, he goes in the witness protection and he says, I'm gonna tell you everything that I know. So they think he's dead so that she's safe, so that Al is safe, so they won't come out. The movie is rated there. It's actually not, if you expect a lot of action, you won't have it. It's more a political thriller, but directed by Richard Donner. He did a perfect direction. He did a great direction, this film. He really enjoyed it. Brian Helgeland, he worked with Mel Gibson. They actually really worked with this film. It was rated there, like the back, you can see, rated there. I think that, in my opinion, Mel Gibson's best movie, best performance. I enjoy his character, Jerry Fletcher. I enjoy his character. Julia Roberts is perfect cast as Alice Sutton. I actually hope that she looked like Jodie Foster, but Jodie Foster was actually offered the role of Alice, but she she turned down the role in order to do The Contact. But she did work with Julia Roberts and Mel Gibson separately. But yeah, Jodie Foster was actually offered the role of Alice for this movie. Because Julia Roberts looks like Clarice Sterling from that movie, Silence of the Lambs, Silence of the Lamb, and she looks like Gillian Anderson. From the X-Files, Dina Scully, and yeah, they were actually really perfectly, one of the smartest, scariest, funniest thrillers in years. I agree, it's a thriller. I think that Mel Gibson really did a perfect job, as Jerry Fletcher. Patrick Stewart as the bad guy. Dr. Jones did a good job. It's rated there. I love that scene when Jerry was tied, and he was glued. His eyes are actually glued with a tape, and he bites Dr. Jones' nose and kicks him, and he escapes with a wheelchair being tied. I love that scene. And Richard Donner did a perfectly job directing this film. Budget was $75 million. Opening weekend was actually in the US and Canada $19 million. But gross US Canada in the US and Canada was $75 million. Made only $136 million. But I think this movie is underrated and overlooked because no one talks that much about the film. Yes, it has 6.7 IMDb, but no one talks that much about the film. No one cares that much. People only talk about the Goonies and that's it, or Little Weapon films. I love the soundtrack by Can't Take My Eyes Off You by Lauryn Hill. Yes, there are two soundtracks. I did not memorize the music composer because I wasn't that into it. But soundtrack Can't Take My Eyes Off You by Lauryn Hill by the end of credits, I really enjoy. This movie was actually completely filmed in New York City. There's only one scene in which Jerry escapes. There's only one scene that was filmed in Los Angeles, but completely was filmed in New York. The music composer was by Carter Burwell. Carter Burwell did music score, especially the open scene when Jerry keeps talking, I love the open scene. Carter Burwell did the music score. Brian Helgeland did a great job of writing the film. And of course, Joel Silver and Richard Donner, they both produced this film. They produced this film, Die Hard, Roadhouse. They produced Demolition Man. I think that Joel Silver did produce a lot of films. So yeah, Richard Donner was also a producer on this film. It wasn't that much big hit because the man, it made only $136 million. They actually filmed from 14 October 1996 till 7 February 1997. Was released on August 8th. Wasn't that big hit, you know. I saw the trailer on VHS with Mel Gibson, but I later watched this film on the VHS. Actually on TV. But I saw the trailer on VHS when I was renting that time movies. But this movie has doesn't have a proper treatment. There's no special edition, you can see it has no bonus features or special features in it, nothing. Also, a cool fact, I didn't look all the facts, but cool fact, when Jerry's in the hospital for the first time, when he writes the word Geronimo on the wall, the room number of the hospital door is briefly visible, 322. This number is well known in conspiracy circles as being the address of the Skull and Bones Society at Yale University, which is said to have the skull of Geronimo in its possession. So yeah, so that's cool fact, you know, about the word Geronimo in the visible room. So they did a perfectly job. Richard Donner did a great job, in my opinion. Jerry runs into a theater showing Lady Hawk 1995, also directed by Richard Donner and was also stars by Rutger Hauer. Never saw the film. I did previous month. I did movie reviews on Richard Donner. Not Richard Donner, Rutger Hauer, who passed away. You know, it's kind of weird, but Rutger Hauer passed away 2 years ago, July 19th, while Richard Donner passed away July 5th. So it's kind of really weird. They both work together on a movie called Lady Hawk, but they both passed away in July. So it's kind of awkward. Ezekiel Walters on a mugshot is actually Brian Helgeland, the writer. So that's awesome. And I already said Jodie Foster was offered the role of Alice. She turned down the role in order to Making Contact, 1997. And yeah, Richard Donner, rest in peace. He was born April 24, 1930 and passed away July 5th, 2021. So Richard Donner did a perfect direction in this movie. He did a great job directing this film. It's rated R. It's fast-paced. Only 2 hours, 15 minutes. It's fast-paced. Mel Gibson, fantastic job. He did a great job. One of my favorite movies that Mel Gibson did. It's long, only 2 hours, 15 minutes. You know, released by Warner Brothers. But Richard Donner did a great job. I think he did a fantastic job directing. I wish he would talk more about the film, how they make, you know. But definitely one of my favorite Mel Gibson films. As for conspiracy theories, you know, I'm not that fan or that big into it. I don't know anything that much about it, you know, about the theories about the government or inside job or terrorist attacks or inside job. I don't know that much into it, you know. There are other 3 reviews who I think they did better review than me, but I wanted to review this film for Mel Gibson because I really actually for Richard Donner and of course Mel Gibson because I really enjoyed the film. So far I only talk about Assassins, Superman the movie, and of course Lethal Weapon films directed by Richard Donner. So I did this film, Conspiracy Theory, 1997. I really enjoy. I think Mel Gibson really had fun. He provides the lines in the open scene, in the taxi. He was great. Mel Gibson did a fantastic job, and I think the direction by Richard Donner was great. He did a great job. Brian Helgeland did a fantastic job writing the screenplay. You know, I don't know what I know, but I know that it's big. I love the lines by Jerry. What you know is that Conspiracy Theory is big entertainment, which it is. It's a fun film. It's a really good movie. It's a political thriller filled with action. And if you didn't see it, I recommend it. You can get on with it. It's a really good movie. I really enjoy this film. I love this film. I really love this film. But yeah, that's my review on conspiracy theory. Hope you like my review. Thanks for watching, and also thanks for subscribing. If you like my review or video, please give a like, subscribe to my channel, and hey, thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next review, which is gonna be soon. So I'm out. Peace and bye bye.